for us all. And isn't that why we're all here? And to make sure that the promise that each one of us hold is able to be brought to fruition so that we can be fully productive and functional and fulfilling members of a society. I don't know of a program that is more valuable than the TRiO program because it brings together three components that are so essential to making a more economically just society. Number one, higher education. Higher education is the gateway to opportunity. I mean, very clearly, the more America educates our students, the more competitive we will be as a society, the more competitive and prepared our future generations will be to be more competitive in a world economy. And so higher education is one of those critical components for America, for Wisconsin Superior. Make sure that we have the most knowledgeable, the most skilled, the most capable of performing leaders, not only in the region, the state, the nation, but the world. And we owe it to you to provide you a higher education. Second of all, you have the gift of students who want to excel. This program, higher education, isn't successful if individuals don't take advantage of it. Now, it helps to have professors share their knowledge and inspire you to learn and reach beyond yourselves to achieve your potential. But the fact of the matter is it's all about you. And it's what you find in yourself, to bring it from within, your heart, your soul, become the best person you can, to learn as much as you can, to absorb from your experiences, and then when you leave this university, be prepared to be a more giving citizen back to your community, back to your society, back to your family. We need both of those ingredients. And the third is critical to making it possible, and that is that we have to make this experience in higher education affordable. That's what the TRiO program does, is that it opens the doors of higher education to students regardless of their income, particularly because of their income. I noticed in one of the slides it says that, I think the term was that these are students at risk, because it targets lower income students who often are going to be denied that opportunity for personal advancement because they can't afford a higher education. I prefer to think of it as a society at risk. We become less of a just society when we have only those who come from the well-to-do to be able to afford higher education and advance your economic and personal success over those that don't have the economic wherewithal. We must become a more just society by opening the doors of education to those who have it in their hearts, in their heads, instead of how much money their parents have in their checkbooks. And that needs to be our policy objective as government leaders who realize that what's important to my success, what's important to Wisconsin's recovery as a state, is that citizens excel. And therefore jobs will be created that pay you more, in which you pay higher taxes, in which you are performing a stronger role to your community. You know the story, you've heard the success story that one who graduates from a college degree is more than likely to see $1.3 million in lifetime earnings, far more than those who just finished high school or vocational college. Not to diminish vocational college. Very clearly, we need the skills of those going through vocational college. But we need engineers, we need doctors, we need teachers, we need social workers, we need administrators, we need nurses, we need those professionals in our society too. And if you look at the economic recovery, it's been tough on everybody. This great recession has profoundly impacted this society. But the group that has been rebounding the most in new jobs created are college graduates. And then it far exceeds the opportunities for those with higher education or vocational college. The unemployment rate for high school graduates, 24%, with those with college degrees at 6.5%. That tells me that you have a leg up in terms of getting some opportunities that are good for you and for our society. So don't let people say college education is not worth it. There's an awful lot of discussion in this nation that college education isn't worth it because, frankly, there's too many public officials that don't want to pay the bill. They don't like the cost. They don't recognize that it's an investment. And we're beginning to bear some of the consequences from that short-sighted, selfish mentality that somehow society only does well when we reward the richest and that the rest will trickle down to the rest of us. Well, I'll tell you what, even Ronald Reagan's guru of his tax policy admitted years later that it was flawed. He criticized the trickle-down, but I'll tell you, the most poignant description of trickle-down theory came from a state representative many years ago down in Burnett County, Harvey Duholm. Harvey Duholm was a guy who worked on a farm all his life and served in the legislature and spoke the truth. And he said, you know, the difference between the rich and the poor is that the poor get their ice in the winter. He also said, I'll tell you what trickle-down theory is when you give the rich more. He says you give the horses more to eat so the chickadees can get some of the leftovers. And frankly, we're finding that to be the case in this country. Whereas in an effort to protect the wealthiest citizens of this society, the upper 2%, who want to protect their offshore accounts so that they don't have to pay taxes, or want to continue to get tax breaks for selling jobs overseas, or want to get tax incentives for buying yachts. They're willing to sacrifice valuable programs like the TRiO program and let this country cut valuable programs that impact regular working class families as the sacrificial lamb. And you've seen it here in the TRiO program that you have 5 or 6 fewer students who may be denied the chance to be successful. And that's simply morally unjust. It is wrong. And it isn't the country I grew up to believe in. So in our generation goes back a ways. Our generation, we grew up believing in that American dream. And we believe that each of us should have an opportunity to improve our lives, get into higher education, live a life that is better than our parents. And we have to reverse this course in Washington and Madison, where the policies are to protect those that are already doing well and deprive those that are so worthy from having their chance to be successful. Look at Wisconsin. Last year, 2 years ago, we indeed had serious budget problems. We had to make budget cuts. But did you really have to make the deepest cut, one of the deepest cuts in higher education, $270 million, at the same time that the budget contained $250 million in new tax cuts for special interest groups?